Hi, this is Trey Passer. Hi, this is Trey Passer, and this is my video response to TP20 or Tyler Preston 20. He did a video on Saturday, I believe, where he compared The Dark Knight to the Avengers, and I thought I'd throw my little 2 cents into the conversation and make a video response. Okay, of course, the Avengers, which came out first, and then, of course, The Dark Knight Rises. Um, First, I enjoyed both movies. Let me just first say that. And as far as loving one more, I won't go into the. I'd say I think they're two type of different films. They both have comic book characters in them, but I think they're two different types of films. And let me explain what I mean by that. The Avengers, of course, Marvel's okay, and they did the individual superhero movies first before they got them all together, of course, in the Avengers. Okay, and again, I know this is cliche, and everybody said it before, but it's like the perfect popcorn movie. It's had good action, good drama, internal strife. The arguing amongst each other, the heroics, the sacrifice, and just the humor and just everything about it was just first class. And Josh Whedon, extra credit to him for understanding and putting together a great script, okay, and directing a great movie. And it's just like I said, perfect popcorn movie, perfectly entertaining. Something you check off your brain. Just a perfect adventure action movie with superheroes and all having them all together in one movie was just absolutely fantastic. And like I said, it had a great villain in Loki, who was just absolutely fantastic. Loved the performance by Tom Hiddleston. He was just perfect as Loki, perfectly evil, and loved the performances by the actors. And I think the only actor, excuse me, that got short shrift was Jeremy Renner's character, of course, Hawkeye, who was mind controlled for most of the movie until towards the end, where he got rescued, and then of course, but for the most part, every actor who played the character that played Thor, the actor who played Thor, of course, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, Chris Evans as Captain America, I thought was perfect. Even I'm sorry, Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner, the Hulk, was just great. And like I said, it had great villain, great action in it, and that last set piece in New York, them teaming up together and fighting, it was just absolutely a fantastic movie. And like I said, it had everything you would want in a superhero movie. It's a great popcorn fun and totally different tone from this movie than The Dark Knight Rises. And I'll explain to you again what I mean by that. Okay, now, The Dark Knight Rises, which came out in July, of course, was the third part of the Christopher Nolan trilogy. And of course, like I said in the other two previous movies, Batman was supposed to be grounded in reality, like it could happen in real life. So that's why I thought this movie was more dramatic. It's a movie with a superhero in it, which is Batman, but it's more of a dramatic movie to me, more of a of a more of a drama with certain action scenes in it and great drama, very little bit of humor in there, But this was mostly played straight and just absolutely fantastic. I again just loved this movie. It was just like I said, Chris. I thought Tom Hardy was absolutely fantastic and scary as Bane. I thought he was, like I said before, he had the mask on. When I did my review of it when it came out, he had the mask on, so of course he had to act with his eyes. He couldn't act. He couldn't act. Basically had to act with his eyes and his body. Very physical role, and Tom Hardy was more than scary. And I know a lot of people say they couldn't understand Bane, which I don't understand because I could perfectly understand what he was saying all throughout the movie. I mean, he sounded like Sean Connery with a deeper voice, and they amplified his voice, but I could understand perfectly what he was saying. So I don't understand why people say that. And I thought also Anne Hathaway was really great as Catwoman. I think she was really good. Okay, the only actor that got short shift in this movie to me was Michael Caine, because his character got written out. Was walking away from Bruce Wayne, and so you didn't see him. You saw him in the beginning of the movie. Then he was vanished for the good part of the movie, and didn't come back towards the end. Okay, but I thought this movie ended perfectly with just that whole scene with him, Alfred, seeing Bruce Wayne happy and living with Selena Kyle living his life. I thought that was just a great touch by Christopher Nolan. He ended it because I know everybody was scared that he was going to end with Batman dying and that would be the end, and then that's how Batman would be sacrificed. But I love the way he ended it with Bruce being happy and Alfred seeing that, and of course with Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, which I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, the beat cop John Blake. I'm sorry, John Blake. Uh, Discovering the cave, and of course you're assuming that he's going to be the next Batman, or maybe Robin or Nightwing, and I thought that was just perfect the way it ended. The only disappointing thing to me in The Dark Knight Rises was a few things. Everybody knew that what's her name, Marion Coulter was Talia al Ghul. Everybody knew. I mean, they kept trying to disguise it and say, "Oh, she's not going to be Talia al Ghul." They wouldn't even give her the name. They gave her a different name, but that's who she was, and everybody knew that. I mean, that's kind of like the worst kept secret. Everybody knew that's who she was, and the way Bane died, which I think was kind of for such a badass character, he kind of died in a cheap way. He got blasted, and that was the end. I would have preferred a different ending to him, a different defeat for him. I don't mind him being defeated. I just would have preferred a more dramatic, than just getting blown, basically getting blasted by Catwoman and pushed to the side, basically. And like I said, and I also love the part where where the commissioner asks, Batman, "I never got to thank you," and he basically explains to Batman. He basically explains to Commissioner Gordon it was such a small thing as putting a coat around a little boy's shoulder to make him feel like his world wasn't ending. I thought that was just perfect. And then of course he figures out that it's Bruce Wayne, and then he takes off dramatically. And everything else about this movie, I just loved it. This movie, like I said, was like almost 3 hours long, like 2 hours and 40-something minutes, I think. But it was engaging, and I saw it twice. Saw it once in IMAX, and it was never boring to me. Just absolutely fantastic. And I love that the first fight with Bane and Batman was absolutely brutal to watch. I mean, it was just physical and scary, and I never thought that he was going to actually break his back. And they actually did show him, when he picked him up, and just that was intense and scary. And then the second fight, even in the second fight when Batman came back, and also, let me back up a bit. I love the part too when he was in the prison cell and building himself back up, and then all the prisoners are chanting when he's making the climb, and then he gets out of there. I love that. It was a great moment to me in the movie. I absolutely love that part, and I just perfect way to end the trilogy. Now I've said that before, the Dark Knight, Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises. Batman Begins is still my favorite. I just love the way he presented that story. It's Bruce's story, and I absolutely love that. But Dark Knight, of course, was great, and this perfect end to the trilogy, and I absolutely loved it. Like I said, Tom Hardy was great as Bane, and Anne Hathaway was really good too, because she held the movie together to me in the beginning of the movie with her performance as Selena Kyle. I thought she was great. Okay, a lot better than I thought she would be, and that's why when people try to compare the two movies, and say, "Oh, well, this one's better than this one," I just think they're two different types of movies. They both have superhero characters in them, but I think The Dark Knight Rises is just a more dramatic movie, more serious. I mean, well, this is serious too because they're about the plane's about to get invaded and stuff. But this is more of an action, an action thrill ride movie. And this is a more dramatic, intense movie. So I think they're two different types of movie altogether. But I enjoyed both of them equally well, and definitely going to be in when I do my top 10 movies or favorite movies of 2012. These are definitely going to be in it, and I think you're going to enjoy both movies. And people, they like to pick one over the other, but not to me. I love both. I love both of them. I thought they were just great movies. Some of the best movies of the year. They both were to me, and I absolutely, can't wait for the next Avengers movie. And this movie, like I said, it ended the trilogy perfectly, tied up in a nice, neat bow. And thank God Christopher Nolan decided to direct these 3 Batman movies because he basically brought Batman back, and I absolutely loved his interpretation of Batman. And hopefully, when they do a Justice League movie in the future, hopefully they won't screw that up, and hopefully they'll get the character, whoever plays Batman, they'll get a good actor to do that, and hopefully the screenplay will be good. Okay, so that's my video response to you, Tyler. Okay, and let me know what you think of my thoughts about the movies. Feel free to leave your comments down below. And this is Trade Pastor saying so long and take care.